Okay, welcome to my channel. So this is going to be the second most important video I'll probably make for this channel in regards to getting housing, okay? This is going to be for the Continuum of Care, better known as COC. This is not a HUD test. These are not the HUD questions. That's a different video and the most important. So with this being said, we're going to go over the actual preliminary questions. It will likely trick you. You'll answer wrong, and then you'll end up probably failing this deal if you don't watch the video. Now I want to tell you a few things before we get started. If you're unable to sit still, focus, and you feel the urge to click away at 4 and 6 minutes, you probably want to stop the video right here, okay? Because what's going to happen is you're going to get over there and you're going to be unable to focus on what they're saying and answer questions and reply. And because you're unable to do those things, they'll put you out the door, okay? So and when it happens and you need to leave this video, I would recommend buying a tent because what's going to happen is you're going to end up being out on the streets all the time, okay? So, I'm here to help you guys. And, if you do suffer from those problems, this video won't help you, okay? Let's move on just on a lighter note. Here are the questions, okay? So this is for the Coordinated Access System, and here are the preliminary questions before we get to the test. As I've mentioned all along, being homeless and chronically homeless plays a big part in the points that you'll get, up to 50%. As a disclaimer, this test is for the state of Texas, all right? It is based on the primary test that is pretty much passed around all states. There's only slight modifications to this, which means if you learn from this video how to do it, then you would be able to pretty much achieve the same results in any state, okay? Because there's not that much difference in how COCs work. They're mandated pretty much by the same testing, all right? With that being said, let's move on. You got the left side over here, where did you stay last night? And then you have two options, literally homeless, and then if you look to the right, you'll see not literally homeless, okay? When you end up answering for not literally homeless and you click one of these, you just lost half your points, okay? So that would be 50% of all the points you could earn are gone. Be careful what you say, folks. Literally homeless. Let me explain that one final time with this, okay? Literally homeless means that you're not on a lease, that you don't own a home. Nobody can prove whether you were on the streets or not on the streets, okay? So whether you want to be ethical or unethical about this, that is your business. I'm just simply telling you how to get yourself to the top of that list, okay? So in order to do this, they're looking for specific types of answers. And the first one's going to be A, that you've been out there for 12 months, okay? That you've been literally homeless for 12 months. The second answer that will work really well and actually earn you a few additional points is you would need an accumulation of 12 months of being homeless. So, example, you started out on the streets for 4 months. Sally lets you come over to her house and stay 3 nights. Remember, never more than a maximum of 7 days. Okay? On the 6th night, she kicked you out and you were out there another 6 months. Sally called you up, said, hey, let's be friends again. This time, she let you stay 5 nights and kicked you out. And then you were out there, like I said, the 6 months. So now you got 10 months out of the 12 that you're going to need. Okay? And then Sally repeated again that you could come over. You stayed 1 month, then you stayed, let's say, 4 nights, and then you were back out on the street again for 1 month, and then the fourth and final time, you were there, 6 nights, and then you were kicked out, and you were out there for 1 month. So your accumulation was 12 months. The important factor in how you're answering that way is the fact that there were 4 separate occasions in which you were kicked out on the street, okay? Those 4 separate times are 4 extra points, all right? So if you were to say, hey, I was homeless the whole 12 months, you would actually earn less points. I wouldn't get involved in answering on 4 separate occasions unless you could hold your story together, all right? How many people are in your household? You got to remember that some questions are just simply there to weed you out, and you'll see how tricky that a lot of this stuff really can be, okay? So it's just really another attempt, not so much to figure out whether or not you got children or elderly. They just want to catch you, kind of tell them the truth or catch you in a lie. Look, if it's just you out there, then it's just you. Okay, if you're homeless, don't mention your partner, your dog, and your cat. Okay, you're there to deal with you. Don't worry about other people. Okay, second line, desired area for housing. Okay, this is not an apartment location service for you, okay? It is in a way, but check them all, okay? For Houston and Harris County and Texas, they give you 6 options. Housing is generally limited. Check if you're in another. You say you're in Washington D.C. Check them all because you don't know, how many options there really are. Okay, so just check them all. Document your housing for the past 3. This is actually a very tricky question. It's designed that way. And the reason is because they're looking for people that have been homeless over 3 years. Remember that combination of 12 months that makes you homeless? Remember how we said that, 4 separate incidents leading up to you being homeless, for 12 months? Now what they're trying to determine is, okay, has this person actually been homeless over more than 12 months combined or in one session? So it actually would benefit you point wise for your story to be that your total accumulation of homelessness was over 3 years. Okay, so they count. So basically, what they're saying is they draw the line at 3 years. So in order for you to max out and be the most critically homeless person, they'll only count it up to 3 years. So whatever your story is, it can add up to 3 years, okay? It doesn't, you start telling stories of how you've been up to 20 years, they don't care. They only care up to 3 years, so you might want to max out the 3-year part of this, okay? Are you a veteran? Look, these questions are designed to do one thing, and that's to pull you into leaving, to walking out the building door and going to a different program, okay? It makes their life easier. It takes some of the strain off. When you say that you are a veteran, you're fine. You can do that. But understand something. They're going to make it seem like you don't have an option, but you do. You can continue on your path, and they're going to ask you some irrelevant questions that have nothing to do with anything. All these questions here I've highlighted in blue have nothing. The only thing they're really interested in is this: are you a veteran? The reason is because if you get on here, if yes, directly refer you to a veteran service. Look, most veterans know that they have an option to go through normal veteran services to get the same thing, okay? Or you can do it here at the COC. But the reason they're asking is it's a quick way to kick you out the door and make you somebody else's problem, another program, okay? Same thing with DV, domestic violence, okay? So if your whole story revolves around having domestic violence, if you say yes to those questions, there's several different tricks to that, okay? First of all, if you do claim that, first thing they're going to do is push you out the door, tell you to call 800 number. There are different programs that deal with you, and they're going to make it seem like they can't help you, okay? Which they can't. So you could simply deny. You could say, nope, I'm here to get help. You're not making me leave, okay? The second thing is that when you start the DB part, it goes directly into your record and the HMIS right then and there. And then what happens is you're going to have to prove your case. And when you fail to prove, it's going to cause a problem. What I mean by prove your case, you better have police reports, okay? So don't open your lips unless you've reported the stuff and you can prove it, okay? Because when the stuff does not come to fruition, when you can't prove it, then you're going to send this whole thing in a whirling mess, okay? So I'm not saying that you can't say you're having problems with it, but make the next sentence out your mouth should be is, look, I haven't called the police or anything yet, so you're more than welcome to deny them the request for you to leave and go to other programs, and you can continue on your path with doing this and just tell them, look, no, I'm not interested in other things. Let's just finish. Okay, moving on. Health history. This plays a massive role in points, okay? Do you have a serious mental illness? Okay, the more of these boxes you check, the more points you get, okay? And you'll see that when we get to the test. Are you bipolar? Are you depressed? Okay. Are you mentally ill because you drink every day? Are you mentally ill because you're out there smoking meth every day? That's what it comes down to. Okay. All you need was anybody, any kind of documentation from any doctor, therapist, a camp counselor, anybody that's got a degree from a college that has a row of letters behind their name that will vouch to say, yes, this guy has been diagnosed. If you got one piece of shred of paperwork from anybody, even a counselor in a homeless shelter, that said, hey, man, he's bipolar, and you could pop out your purse or pop out your pocket a bottle of pills that would indicate that you're bipolar, you're depressed, or you're just flat out crazy, then yes, you're provable. Developmental disability, mostly people that have that aren't at these locations, okay? Chronic physical illness or disability that limits, special attention, disability that limits your ability to work and perform daily activities. This is a little bit of a trick question. You earn the points, but you need to make sure that whatever your problem is, it's going to be chronic and last more than 12 months. If you have asthma, it cannot be cured, okay? That means you have a chronic physical illness. Do you have degenerating disc in your back, okay? That is something that's not going to be resolved in 12 months. anything you could potentially dream up, where any doctor any doctor or therapist or whatever can write in your records, hey man, we're not going to be able to fix this problem in 12 months. It is what it is. HIV, if you got hepatitis, there's a lot of things that can fall into that guidelines. Next one up is AIDS, and then the third, substance abuse disorder. How frequently do you use daily or weekly? These questions are extremely irrelevant, okay? They only become irrelevant when you say daily. When you click daily, then that means that you probably have a substance use disorder, because people with a disorder are daily, okay? They don't go out to the club once weekly and snort coke, all right? So the daily answer would likely give you the best result with this. Trick question again, substance abuse disorder. You're going to create a lot of problems for yourself if you're using illegal drugs, okay? If it's a prescription like Xanax or pain pills in a bottle that's legally prescribed, landlords don't really care about that when you get to the housing end of this deal. But when you're saying you're whipping out a crack pipe, a meth pipe, or you're shooting needles in your arm with heroin, that's different. And then the landlords typically will object to having you lease from them. So whatever your daily use problem is, make sure that it is a legal drug that you're using or abusing, okay? Daily. Have you ever been involuntarily hospitalized for any health condition? Did you go to the ER today and tell them you're fucking crazy and you got paperwork? Okay, it's simple as that. How many times this week have you popped in the hospital and tell them that you were going out your mind? Simple paperwork stating that you were entered into the ER and that you claimed that you have a medical problem. Maximum 4 times. 4 pieces of paper saying you sat there for 5 hours and said you were crazy, and the doctor said, you know what, I agree. Here's some pills. We're not going to lock you up in the hospital, but yeah, we agree that you're depressed or whatever. 4 ER entries would be sufficient to get you those 4 points. Have you ever been, okay, so we already answered. How many times have you been to the ER in the past 2 years? That's a trick question. They're only actually interested in the last 6 months, from the point of you sitting there going back 6 months. That's it. They're not interested in 2 years. So be careful how you answer that. Guess what? You can combine these two together. Remember the mental illness? 4 trips for mental illness? Well, there's your 4 trips for the hospital. Maximum 4 points. 4 points for each one of those, okay? So, yeah, I was in the ER, and I was also there because I was having mental problems. So, you got 8 points sitting there, basically. Do you have health insurance, yes or no? You don't have to answer that question, period. Okay? If you want to answer it, then it might be counterproductive because it serves no purpose in you getting housed, okay? Criminal history. Look, guys, you know what? A lot of you guys like to hide from it. Now is the perfect time to add extra points. How many times have you been incarcerated in jail in the past 2 years? They're looking at how many times have you been in jail in the last 6 months. You can get up to 4 opportunities or 4 points. Now, all it takes is you being booked, handcuffed, booked, and I don't care if you're out of that jail within 5 minutes. If you can show, if they can call the jail and see that you were at least arrested and booked, didn't matter how long, you were there 3 seconds, then you can get 4 episodes of that. Please don't go out and shoplift people to meet that requirement, all right? It's not necessary. Have you or anyone who have lived with anybody that's been convicted of a sexual offense? Let me tell you something. First of all, you don't have to answer that question, but I would simply answer this. I would say that, if you have not really been convicted of a sexual offense, then tell them no. And as far as the other end of this question, or anybody you lived with, you don't live with anybody. Don't worry about it. Because if you are a sexual offender or you have housed yourself with a sexual offender, you're going to block yourself from 99.9% of all housing, even if they offer it to you. Okay, so I'm letting you know, you guys that are sexual offenders, you're going to have a problem. Now, there might be a little bit of latitude with that if that was something to do that didn't have anything to do with children. Okay, there might be some latitude, but I couldn't give you any more information on that. Okay, please describe your employment or situation or income that you receive. It's simple. I have a cup. I collect change under a bridge. Do they need to know anything else? If you actually do have an income where they're actually taking taxes out, they will find that out, okay? And what they're going to be looking at is the past year, not currently, okay? Do you currently have an income? If you don't, say no. Where does your income come from? If you're receiving Social Security, now look, I had a person ask me about this today. Hey, I received Social, SSI, SSDI, VA, or retirement, and they'll tell you if you call them, they'll tell, oh no, we don't, there's nothing we can do for you. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. Don't call people because you're going to get the lowest paid person with an education that extends to third grade, and they're going to give you a third grade answer, and it's a good deterrent because you know what it does? It makes you hang up and not come apply. That's exactly what it does. Don't ever call these people. It is not worth the time to hear all the BS answers. Number 3, when was the last time you have worked? What's simple? Just tell them, well, I was at some guy's car window and he flipped a nickel in my cup. Simple as that. 4, how often do you go to Workforce Solutions? For our state, the food stamp office has a second extension of itself. It's basically a work program where you go and you get all the work training that never leads anywhere, basically. Every state has some version of Workforce Solutions, and it's usually connected to the Labor Department or your food stamp office, okay? It's basically some place where you sit there, they bore you to death with videos, they talk about how you're going to get a job, and you're going to get on some computer, basically, and look at an endless amount of jobs that nobody ever gets. That's usually how that shit works out, okay? So, anyways, your answer should be no, if it's true. Do you need to secure disability income? Do not complicate your situation, folks. Look, they're there to house you. Don't open up that basket of eggs until you're already in the house. Then you go back, talk to them about that, because that whole process right there is going to do nothing but complicate you trying to get in the program. Now I'm going to start moving on to the actual tests. So we're going to roll through all of this stuff, and here it is. I'm going to magnify it, and we're going to take the test together, all right? First question, and you're going to see that this is a logic question. They're not even going to ask you this. It's a secret question. You're looking at a computer screen, and they're grinning inside. Are you homeless? Based on the questionnaire we just went through, it's either yes, no, or logic. That's 25 points. Let me show you something. Here's the point system. So if you answered the very first question, you're already within 3 points of 28, okay, which is permanent supportive housing. So that's the big bonus round. If you decide that you're so proud of yourself, that you live such an eloquent life that you're unable to answer that question adequately, then we can sit here and we can go down the list and nickel and dime this till we get you all the way up to 28, okay? So that's what that question is. So 1A, are you chronic? Yes. That should be the question that's going through the worker's mind. Where did you sleep last night? Only show if chronic. So in other words, they're going to ask you the question that basically says, just let them rattle on for 5 minutes. We already know they're not chronic. And then you see they're leaving a notation to the worker. You're not able to see this. And then bam, street logic. Remember how we discussed 4 opportunities? Think about this. Where did you sleep last night? Only show of chronic. And here's that street logic of 4 points. Yes, I was homeless at Sally's. I was at Sally's house 4 separate occasions and homeless 4 separate occasions. You earned the 4 points. Okay? Let's go down here. How many times have you been homeless before? And then you get an additional 2 points if you did the thing, like I said about Sally with the 4 points. Okay. And then ask the worker a question that you're not going to hear. It says don't ask. Okay? And then you get another bonus 2 points. Okay? If they believe that your story is adequate at that point, which means you haven't proven anything, but you earned the bonus points. So 25. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay? So that counts for 35 points. That puts you off the Richter scale on this. That puts you all the way, that means you're available for everything on the list, and then you're somewhere so high up the list it's just stupid. And you can continue to drive these points. Does anyone in your household have a disabling condition? Outside of you, the answer would be no, okay? And if they believe that you're being truthful, you earn 4 points. How many times in the past 6 months have you accessed medical service? It means how many times you've been to the ER. Remember that question. And so they give you logic, you get 1 point. If you answer you're going 2 times, you get 2 additional points. If you answer you're going to the ER 3 times, 4 times, oh, and actually it's 5 times. So you can earn a maximum of 4 ER trips and 5 points, okay? Each ER trip's worth 1 point. Do you have any serious medical condition that requires frequent medical care, okay? So not just having a disability, not just having a disc problem, but anything that, let's say you're out there and you're homeless, you haven't changed your drawers or your underwear in a year, and okay, they're rotting off of you, okay? Your shoes have holes in them and your toes are falling off because they're black, all right? That's what it means. So you would need any open cut or wound that's going to require constant care, at least right now, that would count as a serious physical condition. Also, examples: symptomatic AIDS, AIDS period, cancer, tracheotomy, I'll skip that one because I have a hard time saying open wounds with instructions to keep clean. Get that one at the ER. End-stage renal disease, end-stage liver disease. And let me tell you something, it's not just limited to what they're saying here. So they're talking about serious stuff. There's a lot of things that aren't serious that will get you that. So give yourself 3 points, okay? Isn't that magical that you can be completely almost disabled and it's only worth 3 points? But if you're hanging out on the bridge, we'll give you 25. Completely flawed system in my opinion, but that's my opinion. All right, next up, has a doctor or professional. Wait a minute. So 5B, observation. They're not going to ask you this question. They're just going to, the workers will look at the screen. Do you observe signs or symptoms of physical health? Did you walk in the building with a cane? Did you walk in the building with, those roller things that you see older ladies with, okay? Did you walk in hobbling? Did you walk in with bandages on your leg, on your face? Do you have anything that's medical taped on you, you know? If so, you get 5 points for that, which is a pretty big chunk of points, all right? Has a doctor or professional ever recommended a mental health service? That's going to be a logic answer. Nobody can prove that, okay? So you can earn 2 points if you say yes. Observer, assessor, do you observe signs or symptoms of mental health condition? Well, when's the last time you acted crazy, okay? Besides when you're in Walmart and, a kid driving a buggy into the back of your heels. When's the last time you acted a little bit crazy, okay? That'll earn you 2 points. I'm not suggesting you go in there and act like an asshole, but, if it makes you seem crazy, there are definitely 2 points to be earned. In the past year, have you used drugs or alcohol? Has the usage had a negative impact on your life? You don't need to explain your whole story. Nobody cares. It's just for points. If you say yes, then 2. In the past, let's see. In the past year, have your drugs and alcohol usage had a negative impact on your life? Well, look, if you walked in the building and you just spilt a little bit of bourbon on your shirt, you probably smell like an alcoholic. If you were out drinking last night and your eyes are red, then you probably look like an alcoholic. If you're having a conversation and you're talking about life's so bad that I'm going to go buy a bourbon, fifth of bourbon like I do every day, then they're going to get the sensation that you're an alcoholic. I'm sure you would understand what that means to them. How many times in the past year have you been arrested or been in jail? There's lots of points to be earned. If you've been booked, you get a point for each time you're booked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So if you have a total of 5 bookings, you have 5 points. It maxes at 5, okay? Let me tell you, that is probably the hardest way to earn points for this thing. So I would not recommend going to get arrested every other day, okay? It does not count tickets for being a vagrant or stuff like that. You need to be booked into a jail. All right, next up. Have you ever experienced domestic violence in the past 60 days? Again, let me throw you out the door and pawn you off another program question. Yeah, you get 2 points for that. I'm not telling anybody to not seek help for that. Maybe you should get past this test part where they're actually finding the home, and then you can bring it up. And then guess what? It won't affect you, okay? But if you want to have that big discussion and make it the focus of your testing there, that is your business, and they will give you 2 points for that. Has someone asked or forced you to have sex or sell anything in exchange for something? Look, we're all human beings. Of course, somebody has asked you about having sex, okay? And of course, you exchange something for something you didn't want to do. When your kids exchange their labor in order to vacuum your carpet, they're doing something they don't want to do. I'm sure that you could give an adequate answer in order to get 1 point. Is someone threatening to harm you or your family? And if you don't, what do they ask? When's the last time your husband or your boyfriend or whatever told you they're going to slap the shit out of you, okay? That's a threat, okay? So it's real simple. It's whatever you tell these people. Yep, he threatened to slap me, okay? It doesn't make you DB or domestic violence victim until it actually happens. It only means the implied threat earned 1 point, okay? Do you have an income? Yeah, they're going to give you 1 free point there because guess what? Now you're going to start raising a little bit of a few alarms from them. And it's not a big alarm, okay? It simply just means that, um, if you have a little bit of income, Social Security and all that, it doesn't eliminate you from the process. It just means you have income, okay? It just means that you'll likely have to pay a little bit of whatever you're getting towards your rent whenever you do get a house, okay? Permanent supportive housing, you need 28 points. You can earn that probably within 3 questions. Non-C, okay, so that is permanent supportive housing, pay all the rent, but they're not going to add a counselor or wraparound services to that. Here's your place. Here's the check for the entirety of the rent. Good luck. There will be no counseling, okay? And then if you earn 10 to 17 points, you're going to be RRH, okay? It can last up to 24 months. It is a discount against your rent. They help you probably pay all the rent in the beginning, a couple of months, and then after that, they slowly reduce the amount they're willing to pay on your rent. And then when they feel like you stabilize with your job, they terminate the program. Usually you're not going to get the whole 24 months. You'll likely get, 6 months, 12 months, depending on the situation. If you completely fail through the rapid rehousing in the first 12 months, then they'll likely hand over your paperwork to the director, and he will probably refer you back up to permanent supportive housing, okay? Income 9. So if you get 9 points or below, guess what you get? You get a printout. They blow you a kiss and kick you out the door because guess what? You're going to get a list of garbage, and then that's the end of it. Please go here, please go there, and good luck to you, all right? So now you understand, folks, these are the tests. Some of them are tricky. Some of them are designed to trip you up. How you answer, whether it's ethically or unethically, is your business. I'm just telling you, this is what you need for your COC, and this is how you'll succeed at it, okay? By the way, if you notice at the bottom, non-chronic max is 38 points. Chronic max is 51. You max that baby out at 51, you're almost guaranteed to be number 1 on the list. If you get it up to 38, you're probably number 2 on the list, okay? How many people actually fail this stuff right here and these questions? Probably about 98% of people do. So they end up with paperwork to show them out the door, or they get RRH, okay? And then a really small percentage get the non-C, and then I guess you could almost call it mythical permanent support. With this right here, it's no longer mythical. It's completely possible. I appreciate your time, and I hope you appreciate my video. And I think later this week, we're going to go through the actual HUD guides, and much more complex, and I'll show you how to get through that too. All right? Have a good day. Bye.